Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a client that had a particular habit or tendency that was a drain on their time, on their money, but also on their motivation. And I'm not going to specify exactly what it is, because I think this hypnosis session will be more useful if you look at it from the frame that many things that people do have a short-term gain, but they have an opportunity cost, or they carry some risk. So I'll throw in some examples. So if someone gambles, for example, they are allocating that money and occasionally they win, and that gives them a big dopamine hit, and it gives them a sense of euphoria or elation. But the money and the time being allocated to the gambling can't also be allocated to something else. So it has that element. And the risk, of course, which is what gambling is all about, is that there can be a loss. It doesn't have to be gambling. It could be recreational drugs. Generally having a short-term emotional payoff, otherwise why would you take them, but costs time and money. And so many people can relate to having a big hangover and it kind of writes off the next day. So again, it has that element. Or it could be other risky behavior, like drink driving or unprotected sex. There's certain things that carry an element of risk. So you're going to hear two key things in this session. An idea that there is an opportunity cost that if they had and if they utilize that same time, energy, emotion, and motivation into something else, it would give them more of the life that they want. But there's also two, I think, quite emotive metaphors. One is the metaphor of Russian roulette, this idea that most of the time nothing bad happens, but only something bad has to happen once for it to be devastating. And the second is this idea of a hook on the bait, that if you were a fish, most of the wriggly, kind of worms or kind of creatures in there that's food is just food. But every now and then it isn't. It's a trap and it could lead to your demise. And that, I think, is an apt metaphor if there is some form of recurring habit or behavior that you have that is either draining your time, energy, and emotion, or carries some form of risk. And I'm about 6 years without drinking alcohol, approaching 6.5. And that's one of the evaluations I made, that actually when you drink alcohol to excess, normally the worst thing that happens is you wake up with a hangover the next day. Maybe you said or did something embarrassing, but that's it. But actually, it could lead to the possibility of something irretrievably bad happening that could shift the perspective of your life. And when you give it that connotation, that you're kind of playing this game of Russian roulette, it becomes easier to make a change. So if you can resonate with any of those kind of things that I've been talking about, you might get some value from this session. Please be aware that it was created for a very specific client with very specific tendencies that might not be yours. And therefore, look at it in a broad term of, is there something you want to change because it's taking more than it's giving? And if that's the case, you'll benefit from that. But if you do like the idea of a bespoke session with me to focus on your habit or compulsion or addiction or whatever it might be, click the link in the show notes and schedule that free consultation call on Zoom. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a slow, long, relaxing breath, and as you exhale, feel a wonderful sense of release and letting go. As you start to feel that with each and every breath you're becoming deeper and deeper relaxed. That's it. The more you relax, the deeper you breathe, and the deeper you breathe, the more you relax. I want you to think of a place, perhaps in nature, where you felt calm, centered, and connected. And just allow your imagination to take you to that place now. And maybe there is something about that place. The temperature, the environment, the scenery, that really helps you to feel away from everyday life. And just imagine there is a comfortable chair in that place. Such a comfortable chair, and imagine lying on that chair, maybe a reclining chair, that enables you to be in that place in nature, feeling ever increasingly relaxed. Just allow your arms and legs to feel heavier and heavier. And as you listen to my voice, imagine a wave of relaxation flowing down from the top of your head, rippling down all the way down into your jaw, neck, shoulders. Feel your arms feeling limp and loose like a puppet with no strings, all the way down to your fingertips. As you breathe in, just imagine your lungs, heart, stomach, and gut all relaxing at the same time. Feel that wave of relaxation going into your legs, as your legs, like your arms, feel limp, loose, and heavy, enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed. Rippling down to the very tips of your toes. And as you imagine peacefully relaxing there in nature, I'd like you to imagine your life as a book. Each day as a page. Each phase of your life like a chapter. And just imagine in this book you're writing a story of empowerment, confidence, and purpose. And maybe there is a theme, a trend, a pattern in this book so far. Some of the storylines seem to repeat. The people are different, the environment different. And I want you to get a sense that all it takes is one significant shift and the rest of the book changes. That every choice you make seems to influence the next few pages. That every action becomes part of the journey towards a life you truly desire. Too many people settle. Too many people will settle for a relationship, a career, a friendship below what they truly desire, and accept poor quality substitutes, not because they want them, but just because they'll do. I want you to think of your time being worth a particular figure. Maybe it's what you earn in an hour, maybe it's double that. But have a sense that your time is valuable. At one point in the future, when you're 80 or 90 or 100 years old, you would spend thousands to live just one day that you have right now. So as you accept the idea that your time is valuable, imagine looking at a clock. Every second, every minute has a value. And the true value of that time is not the money it represents, but the opportunity cost of what you could get to do with the same time and the same money. I want you to get a sense that if you were on a game show and you won $1 million, would you spend a year doing things that felt like substitutions, settling? Or would you actively do the things you really want to do? So start thinking about your ideal life now, your potential, your dreams, friendships, relationships, and the experiences that truly enrich your life. And I want you to think about 2 particular things that you've been doing that perhaps are these substitutes. Predictable, gratifying, but not really fulfilling. I want you to get a sense that your subconscious knows the truth, because anything that you do that aligns with your ideal life gives you a wonderful feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment as soon as you've done it. But if it leads to a feeling of emptiness, regret, or frustration, your subconscious is telling you this is not the choice for you. I want you to think, if you were to zoom out, look at last year as reconnaissance and this year to try something different, what new things would you like to try with that same time, that same money? Not perfection, just a year with more positive choices, seeing your confidence grow, seeing you become the kind of person who attracts the kind of people you want to be with. And maybe that version of you has growing confidence and self-esteem, always increasing as you focus on yourself, improving, growing, and becoming the very best version of you. But let's imagine that's just one pathway, and a different pathway is to make this year similar to previous years. Time being spent on something that fundamentally takes and never gives, or spending money on something that takes away the opportunities to do other things. I want you to picture a revolver with 6 chambers and just a single bullet. I want you to imagine spinning the chamber, and you don't know where the chamber has ended, where the bullet is. A part of you can imagine doing something that carries a risk of exploitation, manipulation, perhaps even the risk of some form of incurable disease, as like playing a game of Russian roulette. Most of the time, you'll be absolutely fine. But you only have to lose the game once, and everything changes permanently. Or maybe imagine yourself as a fish in a lake, seeing an appetizing worm. 99 times out of 100, it's just a worm in the lake. But what if that one time it isn't? There is a hook in the bait, and when you take the bait, everything changes and can never return to how it was. I want you to feel empowered to feel that the best way of avoiding losing that game of Russian roulette is to never play Russian roulette. The best way to never get hooked onto the bait is by choosing a different thing to eat. The kind of thing where there's never a hook inside. And if your unconscious understands how these metaphors might apply to your life, let me know by nodding your head. So let's shift back to the positive. You now perceive these habits for what they are. Distractions that no longer serve you, or risks simply not worth taking. Instead, you are drawn to the incredible potential of your life. You see yourself spending your time wisely, engaging in activities that bring joy and fulfillment. What if your money is invested in experiences and opportunities that align with your goals and values, where each choice makes for a more interesting, fascinating, and enjoyable life, but also contributes to a more confident version of you? What if you were to take that same time and money, that same energy and motivation, and deploy it to create real connections, real experiences, travel, new hobbies, new social circles, stepping into new environments to bring a sense of excitement, a future where you're building relationships based on trust, mutual respect, and genuine attraction. You are replacing attraction for transactions, and in doing so, your life gets better. With each new experience, you grow. And with each positive choice, you feel more empowered, more confident, and more aligned with the life you deserve. Take a moment to feel the strength of this new belief system taking root. And imagine from this moment on, every time you consider old habits, your subconscious will remind you it's not worth your time, it's not worth the risk. And instead, steer you towards investing in yourself and your future, where each hour deployed in that new way is an opportunity to grow, connect, and thrive. I want you to imagine, what if this next year was a very different chapter in the book of your life? You can take risky risks, or risks that could increase the wonderful possibility of incredible experiences. Feel that you are unlocking the desire and motivation to try something different, to meet the underlying need, but in new and wonderful ways, but also to not be harsh on yourself. A blip does not make a trend, particularly if that blip enables you to learn something invaluable that changes the future. You are the author of your life, and this next chapter could be the best chapter ever. So feel like you're returning from that chair in that place in nature, back to the present. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect fully into the here and now. As very soon I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, and you will awaken feeling like it is the end of one chapter and the beginning of something new. And you are unlocking a ferocious desire to become the kind of person you want to be that will attract the person you want to be with. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.